Alright, we're gonna be watching Max0r's Bloodborne review, Defeat Gods, Stall Waifu Simulator. Yeah. So, believe it or not, I actually don't really know anything about Bloodborne. The only thing I know about Bloodborne, or more likely heard about it, is that it's basically Dark Souls on crack. Yeah, that's that's how it has been described to me, which, you know, from what I know, Dark Souls is already super hard enough, but I don't think we need to know what that is on crack, if there's even much of a difference. I don't know. Because honestly, with what I've seen, Dark Souls looks like Dark Souls on crack already. Yeah. Anyways, I'm curious to see how this is going to go, so let's just jump in, shall we? Alright, make sure I'm on the right account and everything, so let's get to it.
As spoilers. Bloodborne is a Lovecraftian horror RPG that no one understands by definition, where the player is free to attack hordes of human children at will and consume their innards. If that in-depth and engaging anti-baby gameplay appeals to you, keep listening, because it gets worse. In this game, you play as John Bloodborne, a foreigner incapable of speech without the use of—
I guess we're just put John in front of the name of everyone now. And whenever it comes to a Max0r review, yeah. And from what I've gotten so far, this sounds like Abortion the video game.
sign language, and stricken with Habsburg disease, comes to the ancient city of London, seeking treatment for the sins of his cousins. In doing so, he will begin hallucinating talking dolls, spider people, and the great Journeying further, John Bloodborne becomes conscripted into the service of a gay elder god and the 60-year-old man he keeps as a pet, and is given the ultimate task of killing an invisible infant in order to cure his anemia. To accomplish said Herculean task, the player must journey through dark forests, terrifying nightmares, and the meth-ridden alleyways of a post-Brexit Britain, slaying monsters, exploring, and tricking women into being impregnated by gods so you can consume the child. This game is an excellent realization of a Metroidvania with something new around every corner, a great action RPG which pits you against insurmountable odds and extreme challenges, and has a gripping story and lore about discovering the eldritch truth. So if you can, play it yourself, because I'm not going to hold back on the details. It's no secret that my reviews are entertainment first, so I don't suggest—
I'll probably play it at some point. I don't know when, but I'll probably give it a try at some point.
Using me as genuine advice. However, most people can't play this game, ever, because you have to buy a $400 magical box sold by the wizard Sony in order to—
Well, hey, I've already got the PS5, so if I can play it on there, then I think we're good.
Experience it. And even
isn't there like a PC port being made for this? Because like then I don't remember if it was. I'm pretty sure like I was hearing people asking for like a PC port for Bloodborne. I think. I'm not really too sure. I'm pretty sure it was for Bloodborne though.
You get to see it in an amazing—
I think it's being made now. I think. I'm not too sure. I don't know. I didn't look too much into it.
30 frames per second with no anti-aliasing. Port this game to PC, I beg of you. In fact, I can assume that a lot of people watching this video will basically never play the game. But keep watching, because I'm hilarious and original. Do that, and I can give you the full, unfiltered, uncensored, unsubstantiated, and unsportsmanlike experience that is Bloodborne.
Alright. It looks good, though.
The gameplay is what makes this game great, and the easiest way to describe it is simple but complicated. On a simple level, your baby brain is responsible for only two tasks, dodging and hitting. And dodging in this game renders you temporarily invincible. Sounds easy, right? Wrong, because every single enemy is adjusted to keep pace with you. Basic enemies are basically able to whoop your ass into fucking non-existence. Every encounter, therefore, is tense and engaging. When you kill someone, it's because you were faster and had more meth than they did. On a complicated level, you have a gun, and normally bullets hurt people, but in London, bullets are a suggestion, like the Geneva Convention. Here in England, it's all about the knife.
Maybe that's why they don't have guns there, because it's like, man, we'll just get shot and it does nothing. No point in having them anymore. No, I'm just kidding. I know that's not why they don't have guns there.
Bins. Except when you shoot somebody mid-attack, you gain the mystical and arcane ability to plunge your fist through their ribcage like Mortal Kombat, and rip out their heart, which is considered rude and a slight annoyance. This extends to behind them if you charge—
Ripping their heart out is just considered rude and a slight annoyance? Okay. I guess we do got some Mortal Kombat logic in here.
Attack, which sometimes causes you to reach up a pig's asshole and rip out the prostate like a foot. Side note, the most optimal farming route for currency in this game is called Murgo's Pig Fisting Route. See, I changed the webpage. And in this route, you sneak up behind this guy and do him the dirty. Then entice these two swinular bastards to be mauled to death by members of Organization 13. Repeat 50 times. On a complicateder level, every single weapon in the game has two different modes with two different movesets, and transforming between them gives you special attacks in addition to—
This game lets you use a scythe. I am playing this in some point in the future.
Running attacks, plunging attacks, on a theoretical physicist level, your character memorizes squiggly lines and fridge art created by gods for passive bonuses that work regardless of weaponry. My favorites are more money, and more money. They stack. Finally, on a meta-theoretical chiropractic level, every weapon is customizable with different gem slots that give differing effects for your attacks. And there are different types that can literally change all of the stats.
I can tell that if I play this game, I'm going to be spending so much time looking at that, depending on what the weapons do, and it is going to annoy the shit out of me because of how much reading I'm gonna have to do. And I'll probably just get pissed off at some point, and I'm like, I've been here for too long. I'm picking something random there. Then let's fucking go. Knowing me, that's exactly what I would do.
Of the weapon, like making a fucking spear do more damage based off of intelligence. There's definitely more and a lot of strategy in how you level up your character, but I assume that you know how to level up in a fucking video game. But with all this combat prowess, you may be wondering, Max0r,
one would hope that... Well, I missed something. One would hope you would know how to level up in a video game because sometimes people find it hard. I'm not one of those people, though, thankfully. But it's amazing how stupidity can go at sometimes. And sometimes people don't even know how to open a fucking menu. That's a Sword Art Online abridged reference, by the way. And okay. I see what we got here. Okay, Max0r really likes Fischl here. I hope that's how you pronounce her name.
Who are these crusty abominations that you're fighting on screen? Well, to learn that much, we're going to have to delve...
Assuming Max0r made that one.
...into the lore. So buckle your britches, bitches, because this shit is wild. If I say something questionable, just accept it as fact. I can be trusted. 60 years ago, 20 rowdy college students took their education extremely seriously because they found Woman Cthulhu. She was just in a portable toilet downstairs. Also, because they were bored, they beat to death a god of the sea with some bats, but that's a story for later.
We're bored, so we're gonna find this god of the sea and we're just gonna beat it up with bats out of sheer boredom.
Turns out the entire...
I think something you find out a regular show, huh? Hey, we're bored. We're gonna go put something in the TV, and then somehow we're just gonna end up in a situation where we're fighting like a 13th dimensional eldritch god, and we're gonna beat it with like fucking spoons or something. Jesus Christ! Imagine a video game that worked like regular show. Like, good God, I can only imagine that. Imagine it would be very interesting. I don't know. Well, actually, when you think about it, I guess there already is a game that's kind of like regular show. It's called Gmod. Yeah.
The world is ruled and created by a race of elder gods beyond human comprehension called the Great Ones. Figuring this out, they got Cthulhu's blood and were like, we can make a religion out of this. Because it turns out the blood can heal people, which is really good due to all the knife crime. So everyone starts drinking it a little too much and they get the money to build 36 cathedrals. But
I imagine you'd deal with some serious health issues if you drank the blood of like a fucking Cthulhu that's been inside of a portable toilet, aka underground dungeon for a while, but... What am I? Who am I to say? I'm no doctor, so who knows? Maybe it really is good. Who knows? Maybe it's the cure for like some huge terminal disease that's like probably hasn't been discovered, or it'll be like the cure to cancer or something. I don't know.
It turns out eventually the blood turns you into a werewolf. So the church hires a guy.
Never mind.
Named German to go fight the beasts with an organization known as the Hunters, but there's too many beasts, so he gives up. Now the knife crime is increased even more, and German sort of goes insane and creates a life-size doll of one of his students who is an 8-foot-tall Amazonian. He also canonically has sex with it. The moon god, for some reason, kind of takes notice of this and is like, alright, listen, I'm building a suicide squad. I will bring your waifu to Laifu if you serve me for all time as my slave. German...
Sign me up, sign me up, sign me up, sign me up now, please.
Reasonably thinks that this is a great deal and is imprisoned in a dream. This is where you come in. See, the moon god assassinates baby gods for fun, but needs a hitman to go into the real world to do it since he's confined to the 9th dimension. So in addition to fighting all manner of giant beasts and uncovering dark secrets, the true aim of this game is to commit infanticide. There's enough bullshit here to fill tax legislation, so comment your own poorly summarized blood...
Late abortion the video game, pretty much.
Or lore below. And for the rest of us non-shills, we have ample time to explain more of what makes this game great.
Alright.
Yes, you have been japed. I am talking about bosses before I talk about the levels. In most video games, bosses cap off areas, but in Bloodborne, areas are preambles to a dick flattening, and nothing will challenge your skill in quite the same way. Except for the goddamn witches of Hemwick, who are—
If there's anything that looks like it's going to be challenging, it's probably going to be your patience and tolerance.
Placed into the game for
and most likely your sanity, and most likely your sanity too.
Ability access. You can probably tell that Bloodborne is a hard game. We don't even know if a games journalist can beat it, but it's hard in a fair way that tests your skill.
You know, knowing game journalists, they probably can't. They can't. I mean, hell, do they even play games anymore? I mean, hell, look how bad game journalists are nowadays. Like, they can't even tell what a good game is. They give, like... Like, look at what they've been doing recently with the whole Concord Dustborn shit and everything. And, like, they give them, like, high ratings, like the same ratings they give to a game like Black Myth Wukong. And it's like, neither of the... But you can put both of those games combined, and neither of them will even have an ounce of a chance of being nearly as good as Black Myth Wukong, which is another game I gotta see if I can play at some point. Yeah, because I want to try it out at some point, too. But I'm not gonna touch it right now. Oh, and to the game journalists that were really hoping for Concord and Dustborn to really pop off and everything, and are really jealous at the success of Black Myth Wukong, suck it! Suck it hard! You suck! Go fuck yourself! Jesus. Like, seriously, all those fuckers can go fuck themselves, like, for real.
Skills and reaction time.
Especially after that shit they did where they tried to make, I don't know what they did. They were trying to slander the Game Science, the creators of the Black Myth Wukong 2. So, yeah, they can go fuck themselves, okay? Game journalists can go fuck themselves. IGN, Sweet Baby Inc., fucking Alyssa Mercante, whoever the fuck else, they can all go fuck themselves. No.
Except for Lawrence, but I'll get back to Lawrence later. What sets this game's bosses apart is that the challenge makes it feel like you're a really small dude jabbing a toothpick into a building-sized deer demon. So yeah, I would be impressed if you killed that. But not only that, unlike Dark Souls, every single boss reacts meaningfully to how you attack them. Large beasts can have their bones cracked and their tendons wound into a slinky. Bone boys can be knocked over and have their marrow sipped. And human enemies will wince and recoil when they see your height difference. As well, every boss punishes you for cowardice and actively discourages backpedaling with their forward momentum, causing every fight to be an elaborate dance with a thrilling back and forth. Unless you're fighting Rom, who is the really hungry caterpillar if he had a legion of arachnid slaves who threw their heads underground like ostriches. We don't talk about him. And while we're on the subject of bad...
Okay, why do ostriches put their heads on the ground? I never found out why. I'm pretty sure I had that explained to me once, but I don't remember what it was. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know. Isn't it... This reminds me of the Nicolas Cage meme. No.
Bosses. This motherfucker, let me tell you something, the humanoid bosses in this game are paradoxically the most dangerous. But
really?
Mikolash is a psychological hazard that will hurt you personally. This boss literally feels like cut content because the fight centers around chasing him, and his direction depends on RNG, making him an actual speedrun killer. When you corner him, he uses one attack, and then you chase him again, where he gains the power to insta-kill you. God forbid you're hit by it, because that's 10 minutes gone. Here's a tip. Save up 10 poison knives and steal from your...
Yeah, that sounds annoying as shit. If you're chasing him around for 10 minutes and then he gets like a instant kill attack and then you gotta do that shit again, that sounds annoying as all hell.
Family if you must. Then wait until he jumps down this hole, poison him repeatedly, and watch him spaz the fuck out until death. You will thank me. But as a result of everyone who isn't Miko shit, conquering a boss...
I need to make that a note for whenever I play this game in the future. Yeah.
The fuck out until death. You will thank me. But as a result of everyone who isn't Miko shit, conquering a boss in this game is absolutely rewarding on a level that other games cannot match. It's only because the odds are stacked against you in ways that don't feel bullshit most of the time that conquering them is the main reason I play, and their fights are undoubtedly the best I've ever done at video games. But that isn't most of the time in the game. In fact, a lot of your time is spent exploring the areas, so let's get into that. Lesson 1 in area design. Where the fuck am I going? Exploration is the name of the game, except it's called...
Oh no. Where the fuck am I going? That just... Oh no. I already know what my biggest issue will be if I play this game. Trying to find out where the fuck I'm supposed to go. Because if they... Because while I'm fine with exploring and everything, but if I don't know where the fuck to go, I am going to be searching around for like 2 hours trying to find it. Which is why... It's actually why I hate a lot of horror games, because... Some of them just do not tell me where the fuck I'm supposed to go, and I'm like, fuck this. I've been walking around for 2 hours. I can't find where I'm supposed to go. I'm pissed off. Fuck this game. Like, that's what most horror games are for me. Like, I spend like 90% of it just trying to figure out where I'm supposed to go. That's why I was never able to beat the what's it called, the security breach in Five Nights at Freddy's, because like it wasn't that I was bad at it, I was good at it. I just couldn't find where I was supposed to go at one point, and then I just kept searching around the whole damn place. I couldn't find where I was supposed to go, and I was like, fuck this game, fuck it, fuck the shit out of this stupid ass game, and then I just never touched it again. And I only found out where I was supposed to go once I watched Max0r play it.
Called Bloodborne. Only this time, you don't bring smallpox and kill 20 million people. We're looking at a solid 10 this time, because the main enemies in this game are British townspeople. It's how the developers made sure you didn't feel bad about killing them. The plague of beasts infecting London causes people's teeth to become beast-like, makes you aggressive at night, and slurs your speech. So it's up to you to stop them, as a hunter should. If you don't look up where to go next in this game, good fucking luck. People get lost all the time. Get used to it. This game doesn't do exploration like, oh look, there's loot in this hallway. My dopamine's gonna go crazy. That's baby shit. This is daddy's exploration, where you find a route back to a place you were in 10 hours ago. And I hope you weren't expecting a mini-map, or any map. Every single hallway is a rabbit hole of discovery, and your hand isn't held. Case in point, Cathedral Ward is a level, but feels like a hub area because it connects to fucking everything. And where you start the game is in the middle of a loop-de-loop involving torturous experimentation. Just look at the fucking map of this game. Everything overlaps. And yes, there is a level called Nightmare Lecture Hall, and no, it does not connect to the Altar of Despair, although you would think that. Fittingly, the lecture hall is the smallest area, and more fittingly, 90% of the combat is graduates throwing cum at you. The game also has 2 completely secret areas that you would not find without the internet. I would tell you how to enter, but I don't want to do calculus. And what you get at the end? Upper Cathedral Ward is legitimately a horror area in a game loved for its combat, because it's filled with enemies who act out my greatest fears. Stealing currency permanently gives me fucking chills every time I talk about it.
Yeah, that is horrifying. That's... Stealing currency permanently too? No. Oh no. I think the IRS just found a contender. The IRS has got a competition, huh?
Castle Canehurst is proof that From Software hates us all, since the best area in the entire game requires you to go to the Field of Corn in Ohio and trek down Waldo. But it's worth it to invade the house of that parasitic queen dwelling in her demented castle, so that she may feel the wrath of the proletariat. All we have to do is kill Prince Philip, who guards the way as an eternal lich. On top of this, there are numerous NPCs and NPC quest lines spread throughout the world, all with a series of interactions with each other depending on location and timing. For instance, you could direct nuns, prostitutes, and Prince Philip to a church run by a lonely...
Prostitutes? Excuse me? You know, this is London, and there's prostitutes here. Is Jack the Killer in here? Or was it Jack the Killer? I'm pretty sure it was Jack the Killer. Yeah, I'm thinking of. Yeah. You know, the serial killer that used to kill prostitutes? Yeah, maybe there's something... Maybe he's in this game, too. Maybe. Wouldn't surprise me.
Black sludge.
Or are we Jack the Killer in this game? That'd be a plot twist.
Then perform enough blood transfusions to send the nun into a yandere rage. Or you could direct them to the nice woman who runs the clinic down the street, who only wants to help and assist others. Then take a strange path through the forest and into her clinic to discover that she has been experimenting on all of them in order to create the Blue Man Group. And if you want, you can take the umbilical...
Well, okay, I was about to say, she said she could fix them. She did not fix them. She made them worse.
Away from her schizophrenic ass and eat it. The sky's the limit in Bloodborne questlines. And you know what my favorite questline is? The one where you descend into literal hell, complete with eternal punishment, insanity, and femboy fishing, the scariest of them all. I'm, of course, talking about the...
Femboy fishing? Excuse me? Might be checking that out.
DLC, the only DLC for this game. And if you play through Bloodborne, you have to play through the DLC. I'm not giving you a fucking choice. So to learn why, you should play the best expansion ever made since Spore Galactic Adventures.
Jungles.
Come with me on this amazing journey to find the secrets of the Bloodborne, the Old Hunters. I want you to imagine hell. Now imagine hell written by H.P. Lovecraft. It will be filled with squids, immigrants, and air conditioning. This DLC has none of that except the squids. For you see, those college kids from the lore section of the video were built fucking different. They experimented on an entire village and
holy mother of fucking
lore section of the video were built fucking
holy mother of fucking mutated ass Giga Chad. What the fuck is good lord. Yeah, that definitely looks like something that would be out of like out of Bloodborne, considering everything I've seen so far. Jesus.
Different. They experimented on an entire village and possibly beat up a god of the sea so fucking bad that her consciousness in the 9th dimension died. We spent an entire game killing an infant, and these guys somehow killed the MILF god. But anyways, in the process of this, it cursed them and all of the hunters to be doomed to a hell upon death, where they will hunt in a bloodthirsty rage without rest for all eternity, indistinguishable from a political subreddit. Case in point, this is Ludwig. He's the first boss of the DLC and has a reputation for causing refunds. Not because he's bad, but because he's too good for you. The first phase is as difficult for me as realizing that Golden Corral is not actually a real corral. But like every restaurant except Golden Corral, the rewards at the end are delicious because his second phase is even harder. Now, I'm not going to lie, this DLC has 4 bosses and 3 of the hardest bosses I have ever fought in any video game ever. So your ass will be clenched the entire time, and the fact that he's the 3rd hardest is fucking concerning. Some people tell me, Max0r, your videos have gotten me through tough times because they made me laugh. But like this boss, you are the one who is truly overcoming these challenges, and I believe in your ability to beat both of them. King. Boss Lightning Round. The DLC has many such cases of amazing bosses, including Lady Maria, who is the basis for German's extremely creepy 8-foot-tall doll fetish, but we'll get back to that, and Orphan of Cause, who was born from the literal dead body of a god. If you enjoy the sensation of being beaten to death with a sharpened placenta, this is the fight for you. And as with everything that From Software makes, they threw in a boss that they didn't really finish and called it a day. I'm of course talking about Lawrence, which is a very mundane name for a fire monster locked in hell.
Giant fire monster. Okay, what do we name this? Call it fucking Lawrence. That reminds me, there's some, what was it? There was like a giant monster that was just named like something totally normal. I don't remember what it was. Fuck! What was it? And it wasn't Doug. It wasn't Doug. But that is, I guess that could be an example, but it wasn't Doug. What was it? I can't remember. I'm so disappointed in myself.
Take my advice, don't fight Lawrence, you only lose a part of yourself, since this boss fights you by dropping off his own legs and then violently vomiting and shitting lava everywhere. I've always wanted my game about dynamic dodging and elaborate fencing to be reduced to shitty area denial like it's Team Fortress 2. To wrap things up, the music of this game is pretty good, but the DLC music is fucking insane. I don't know what it is about Japanese composers being able to make better symphonies than the continent that invented them, but just take a listen.
Holy shit, I'm alive right now.
Have you ever thought, as I do, that this game is just too good? That you would really rather be playing a shittier version of the game, such as the engagement of the Chalice dungeons? I, of course, jest. They're fine, probably, except for half of them, because Bloodborne has an optional system of infinite dungeon generation for all of those who wish to break free of the shackles of good level design. Let's talk about how, and more importantly, why. First of all, Bloodborne has a system of dungeons that everyone shares and dungeons that are random. For my footage, I played the shared dungeons that you can be guaranteed the pain you witness on screen is mandatory. One of the biggest strengths of Bloodborne is the ability to have interesting and challenging enemy encounters gently rubbed with the blood-stained hands of Miyazaki. But I don't think I have to explain to you how randomizing almost every encounter in the game could be imbalanced. But fortunately, most enemies you encounter in the Chalice dungeons are new to spare British people your wrath, so you instead fight SCP-96. But why are we here? It turns out that the entire city of London was built on a Celtic burial ground, an ancient civilization called the Sumerians who discovered the healing powers of blood and then mysteriously disappeared. Wow, I wonder what happened. This is all cool in theory, but the reality is that most of the time you fight the same 4 enemies, and the first 3 dungeons can be replaced by Simon Says. My cat literally wouldn't notice. The Chalice dungeons are so forgotten that the developers use them to put joke enemies into the game. My favorite is the man who aggressively rolls at you stark naked wearing only his Nikes. The uniqueness also extends to the bosses, and they're actually pretty cool, like Tumerian Descendant, Watchdog, and the 3 overweight men. Do you remember that basic enemy from like 2 levels? He is the boss now. Rom, he is the boss again. The only thing stopping me from throwing myself into a wood chipper is the fact that Mikolash isn't back. And if you're going to have replays, you probably want to make...
Yeah, imagine they brought his bitch ass back.
sure that they're actually good. In fact, the bosses are so fucking imbalanced that the Watchdog fight is primarily comprised of instant kill attacks. I beat Sekiro backwards on a keyboard, and this shit is too fucking much. Now, normally that would be all, but the dungeons go deeper. What we've discussed so far is merely the surface, and there is a much darker syndicate lying just below. These places you must never venture, for they are the save edit dungeons, whereby through wizardry, the community are able to conjure up deep, dark chasms and share them with the rest of the world. Of these secrets, there are only 2 that I shall reveal to you, and the first is the Cum Dungeon. Yes, you heard that correctly and clearly. The Cum Dungeon is the name of the most optimal farming route ever conceived by the fucking cricket people who do this shit, whereby the player enters...
Oh lord. You want to grind, you gotta go to the Cum Dungeon and start goon maxing in there. Jesus lord.
Enters the chasm of place name and watches as a high-level boss yeets itself off a cliff. Murgo's pig fisting route can give you 10,000 echoes. This gives 83,000. And if you thought that that sorcery was bad, it gets much worse. You can insert anything from the game files by save editing a Chalice dungeon. Anything. This includes cut and unfinished content from the game that the developers forgot to delete. Like this doggo who attacks you with invisible lightning. Overall, the Chalice dungeons are bad. They're not actually very fun to play, and yet I love them. Everyone loves them because they allow us to further explore a long-dead game with the help of a passionate...
Everyone loves it because this is where they find out and discover that they were a masochist.
...community. Now, before we sign off, I know what you're thinking. Max0r, what about the multiplayer? That I would love to talk about with all the footage I have, but it's dead. If this game releases on PC, and it better, then I will talk about the multiplayer extensively. And finally...
Hey, who knows? I heard talk about it, but I don't know whether it's an actual thing. I just heard it being brought up recently, and, well... hey, maybe it'd be a thing, and if it does, a lot of people gonna be having fun.
This game and this video would not be complete if I didn't talk about the
I'll have to see what kind of mods they put into, because if it gets on PC, we already know people gonna be modding the shit out of it.
Dream. After all the combat, the battles, and the difficulty of this game, it's nice to have a place to recharge, purchase items, upgrade weapons, and watch as it violently burns to the ground. This is where you'll find German slowly wasting away as his soul remains captive for an eternity, and his doll waifu that he sold his existence to be with. She talks to you, levels you up, offers you advice, and German says you're allowed to have sex with her. When I fell down and felt defeated, she was there to pick me up. When I emoted at her randomly, she pretended to be impressed, and she was there, graciously standing in the background of this one shot that I took of myself. She is our waifu now, and the game is perfect and complete because she is in it. Now excuse me as I engage in the supplementary lore material. Should you get the game? Yes, absolutely. I am biased. In fact, you should physically enter Sony's headquarters and demand that it be ported to PC. I will be right there with you. Tasers will not stop.
Hey, who knows? And then honestly, I don't think I want to head into Sony's headquarters at this time, but who knows?
I would like to thank the corrupt hackers and politicians funneling money into this channel directly from the taxpayer. If you would like to contribute your funds accrued through extensive federal government corruption, you can head to my Patreon to learn more. I would also like to thank the kind denizens of the Mythbusters Smut Discord who sent me half the memes in this video. And as always, thank you for watching.
Alright, well that was something. I'll add Bloodborne to the list of games I need to try out in the future. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video. So if you enjoyed it, don't forget to check out the original one, which will be linked in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Have a good day, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.